about local Schiffman theorem, and then I will explain the construction of Abrèche to produce a lot of minimal examples in H2 crosshair, and it is in this family that Benoit and I we found the harmonic map which constructs these nice examples in Heisenberg space. And I will show you that there is a zoo of examples, and that maybe here there is a lot of possibility to find some interesting examples, and I will explain after. Then last week I was considering some minimal surfaces parameterized by their third coordinate from sigma into general M2, which is H2, S2 or R2. And we see that if the metric was given by cos carré omega dz square, and what I can say more, and in this it is a conformal it was a conformal immersion, and I have proved a proposition that the horizontal curves sigma inter M2 cross C0 is gamma, then the curvature of the geodesic curvature in the slice, sorry, the curvature is given by this function, and it is y, and the curve was parameterized in x, and then I prove that minus cos omega dx kg, which is actually something like omega x minus tangent hyperbolic omega x omega y, was a Jacobi field called Schiffman-Jacobi field. In particular, when the Jacobi field, Schiffman-Jacobi field is 0, the curvature is constant on the horizontal curves. And I don't remember if I did that, but let a compact annulus in H2 crosshair, in M2 crosshair, with a curvature of M2 less than 0, then H2 crosshair or M2, and if A is bounded by two convex curves, by gamma 1, gamma 2 convex curves in parallel plane, in different section of in something parallel plane, parallel section, then A, the curve is convex. Okay, then we are practically with 2 gamma 1 gamma 2 and compact annulus inside the H2 crosshair, and the convexity of the boundary, implied convexity inside. And to prove that, it is simply to remark that since Laplacien omega plus the curvature omega 2 omega 2 is 0, we can derivate this to have y plus k m cos 2 omega omega y is 0. And since the curvature is positive here, we have a sign of omega y on each curve, which is a function. Omega y is a function of x on y. And we have omega y positive, negative on gamma 1, gamma 2. And then, if omega x is positive somewhere inside, you have positive, then Laplacian omega y is of the sign here. And you have maximum principle for the curvature is exactly when it is negative. Because, yeah. Okay. Max principle when the curvature is less than 0. And for a curvature which is greater strictly than 0, we have counter examples, which is I can take two curves of curvature strictly negative, and in S2 crosshair, at one moment I have some onduloid, and here the curvature is 0. The curvature is 0, and here the curvature is in the other sense. Then it's negative. Then there is different phenomena for Schiffmann theory in following the curvature of the section. Now we can say then this was in Schiffmann and I in the general case, and Schiffmann in the R2. Same for this theorem. Let A be compact annulus bounded by two constant curvature curves. Two constant curvature curves, gamma 1, gamma 2. Then what we can say, it means that U is 0 on the boundary of the annulus. Okay, then we can say if the index of the annulus, which means the Jacobi operator is less than 1, then U identically 0, and the annulus is foliated by horizontal section. Foliated by constant curvature curves. 2. Then in R3, the theorem is given by Schiffmann and Fang. Fang extends the theorem of Schiffmann where it is bounded by straight line. And in H2 crosser, I will, in all generality, it is an idea of mix that we write with Fernanda Elbert. And mix find a very nice argument, geometrical, to control the index of the, in H2 crosser, to control the index of the annulus. I will recall that Fang used the four-vertex theorem, and when I have an annulus, in fact, and I'm looking for horizontal curves, then the curvature has 4 critical points. Then Schiffmann U has at least 4 zeros on each horizontal curve, and then it's defined 4 nodal domains. Huh? Like that, and another one, huh? Where U has strictly positive sign, U is 0 here, huh? And U is a solution of minus 2k U 0 in R3. Huh? And we know by the result of Barbosa-de Carmo in R3 that if a domain omega is stable, unstable, it means practically a domain which I mean a Jacobi field strictly positive inside. Then this nodal domain, then the mean curvature, the total curvature is at least 2 pi. For less than 2 pi, the domains are strictly stable. Then it means that the finite total curvature of such annuli are at least 8 pi. But by Gauss-Bonnet, it's strictly impossible since each convex curve is strictly 2 pi. Then we have at the boundary total curvature of 4 pi at most and 8 pi in the annulus. Then impossible. Then U is 0. In H2 cross-R and in S2 cross-R, it's remarkable that we don't have any criterion today to attack the problem of to know how is the index, how much is the index of compact annulus in R3. Then even if we have some partial result, for example, scatenoids or Riemann family that I will describe later, compact piece of catenoids or Riemann family have as index 1 at most. We don't know for a compact conjecture, compact annulus bounded by convex curves has index at most 1. And this one can prove that. It can prove by the well-known technicals of Mix and White that every convex curves bound at most 1, 0, 1, or 2 solution, minimal solution annuli. But it is what it is missing, and the theorem of Barbosa-de Carmo is not known in this theory.
So, theorem 1 is not true in S2 cross-R.
In S2 cross-R, yeah, but in Km less than 0. In S2 cross-R, we have onduloid. And bounded by geodesic, like that. And in fact, if we fix 2 geodesic, for example, we can move the period of the ondulite to create inside the non-finite number of annuli bounded by same curves. For example, you can take one stable, and after something like that with one or two geodesic, and you can
So
have
if
an.
if you assume that omega y is negative on S2, on S2 plus R, can you prove the same theorem?
If omega y don't change of sign, it means that it is convex. Maybe you may have some. I think that if omega y no change of signs, it means that it is content in the hemisphere, and that maybe we can prove that it would be stable.
I mean, can you show that it's populated by subgroups?
If I didn't try. Then what is in H2 crosser? What is a way to prove it? In H2 crosser, I'm consider two circles, and I can apply the Alexandrov reflection to find a vertical plane of symmetry first. Then if I'm looking for top, this vertical plane of symmetry, and I know that U is 0 here, U is 0 here, and in H2 crosser I have some. I can consider horizontal hyperbolic translation like that. And in fact, the hyperbolic translation which will be produce Killing fields on the surface, and then Jacobi fields. And this Jacobi fields V will be 0 on the perfect curves, which is strictly positive on the boundary, like that. And if here V, we can assume that for the moment that V is strictly positive inside. We have that this curve, this part is strictly stable because there is a positive Jacobi fields V, because it is a graph. It is a graph on the vertical plane. Then we can consider V minus a constant U, which gives you a new Jacobi fields, and this Jacobi fields, for C enough large enough, will produce some subdomain with nodal domains where W is negative. Then this subdomain will be strictly stable, and then it contradicts the stability of this part. Then there remains to prove that this half annuli is a graph for the Killing fields coming from this isometry, because I need that V is strictly positive inside. Then I can see that if I'm looking H2 R like that, and H2 cross T, I change of model, and here it is annulus with perfil, like that, the circles, and I can go from I can make some reflection, Alexandrov reflection with this plane to prove that it is the annulus is an horizontal graph like that. Okay, then V is positive. Well, then now I will look for complete examples with Schiffman Jacobi fields 0, what it is producing for like examples. Then when we have U, such U, we have several ways to produce Riemann surfaces. One is geometrically given by Mix-Rosenberg. When you have an annulus in S2 crosser, take a geodesic, take another geodesic, which is at another level, but which is not centered on the same point, and solve the plateau problem. And since the plateau problem gives you stable annulus, plateau problem give stable annulus, there is no Jacobi field inside. Then U is identically 0. And since it is bounded by geodesic, you can think to make a reflection along this geodesic to produce complete examples. Produce complete examples of Riemann types. Okay. And I will describe what happened in now in H2 crosshair. In H2 crosshair, it is a little bit more complicated because you have possibly boundary at infinity. Then it is, in fact, when we are looking for the equation in S2 crosshair of Synnach-Gordon equation with the condition that Schiffmann is 0, then foliated by constant curvature curves. This system for k equal 1 was previously, in fact, studied by Uwe Abrech when he studied the Wenti theory. And in fact, Abrech remarks that this equation is exactly cos omega dy cos omega is 0 and cos omega dx omega y cos omega is 0. And then this function only depends in one variable. Then there is a separation of variables for this system. X f de x y cos omega, and in fact you can replace the curvature by the constant C0 and redo the same work in the wall spaces, and you find that this function solves equation fx square is f4 plus a fxx to f3 and this equation f and j are in fact elliptic equations. They are elliptic equations, and then they are periodic. It explains the periodicity of Riemann equation with C equal T and A is real if the curvature is 0 in the real space, and CD in R, A is C minus D on C0 if C0 not 0. Then it is the case where Schiffman is 0, and when can express the omega by f de x plus gy on C0 plus f square plus g square. And conversely, you can prove that take two f and g, you can recover omega and satisfy the Schiffman 0. Then maybe we'll say 2 words on the proof. But simply, when you are looking f and g, you can see that fx plus jy is Laplacian omega cos omega plus hyperbolic tangent omega square on ch omega square. Yeah, like that, and that it is f square plus g square sin h omega. Okay, and you can then when you this for any f and g, okay, for any f and g like that, you have this relation. And now you can derive if f and g depends in one variables. This means that when Schiffman is 0, look at that. You want from this relation derivate this equation, elliptic equation. You can make a derivative. Minus f de x square minus jy square on g square is minus f. This is only derivate this relation in x, and you obtain this relation. You multiply by f de x, and you integrate to get f de x square gy square on C0 plus f square plus g square is minus f square, and since you integrate, you have a function which is depending on y. And related, and from this, you want replace this here in this relation here, and you obtain f de xx. Yes, f de xx is minus f c0 plus f square plus g square plus f minus f square plus 4y. Yes, and it gives you the right equation, moins f c0 plus jy minus ky. And since your equation only depends on x, this is a constant, which is c bar. And it is exactly this equation, and the integration of this equation is exactly this one. Multiply this equation by f de x, you obtain this one. And then you have elliptic function. And this in H2 crosshair, there is a delicate point. It is when all this computation works when C0 plus F square plus G square is not 0. Huh? And it is in the H2 crosshair. There is some problem. Then you have to control F carré plus S square minus 1. And what happens? But you have sin h, recall sin h omega fx plus gy c0 plus f square plus g square is, after some algebraic manipulation, f de x minus g de x. To do that, you put the equation 1 minus the equation 2, and you have fx square minus jy square here. And you have exactly this product which arrives. And then when we have to control omega, then since this is 0, we have two cases. Then this cases is 0, and then the omega exists is finite. And f de x plus gy is not 0, and then omega has the poles. Omega has the poles means, in fact, that the normal, then omega is well defined if fx plus gy is 0 and fx minus gy is 0, net 0, and f square plus g square. C0 is 0, and omega as a pole, if not. Gy then f square plus g square plus C0, 0. And when omega is a pole, I would like to recall that the metric is cos square omega dz square, and say that omega as a pole, it says that the metric is infinite, and it is probably, as you can thought, the infinite boundary at H2 crosshair. Then you can expect that at the boundary of H2 crosshair, here you have a pole. And the N3 is hyperbolic tangent omega, N3 is 1. Then, in fact, you have to care about, oh, no, we keep that. And I have a map where we have a lot of minimal plane, and yeah. Then what happens? I have some coefficient, which is C and D. C and D are given here. And in this map, first, I can see that I have no surface in this part because when I have C and D positive, in fact, I will have here a positive, strictly positive polynomial at Fish function or Fish function, then it is not possible. And here we have, in fact, when C is negative, when C is 0, then we have to recall that f de x gy is a curvature of horizontal curve. It is important. And f is a curvature is not exactly, but tangent omega f is a curvature of vertical curves, of the projection of vertical curves. But it's less important. Then we can say that when C is 0, F is 0, and J is periodic, okay? And it is, here you have the catenoid. Catenoids are of revolution. And it is, in fact, what is good in this parametrization is that you can see that G has some F is 0, and G attains 1 in finite point. Huh? And then you have omega infinity here. And here you have the value of G. And you have, in fact, you can see that minimal catenoids in H2 crosshair are not greater than a pi, the slab pi. Here, this piece of surface is like when you push the catenoid outside the H2 crosshair, and it gives you something. Oh, this is interesting. It is G is identically 1. And it gives you an annuli which is bounded by only horocycle, which is this one. It is when you push inside, then you have a simply connected annuli, bounded by equidistant curves. So here, the curvature of G is greater than 1. Here, the curvature G is 1, and here the curvature is less than 1. Then we have equidistant curve, annuli bounded by equidistant curves. And here we have a special family which are graph foliated by constant curvature curve J less than 1, which looks like more or less this boundary at infinity. And here you have, here when you project, each curves are equidistant curves to a geodesic. It is a foliation. Here. Well, when C is 0, it means that the G is identically 0. Then it is all the surfaces foliated by geodesic. Then the first, the big example is the helicoid. And after you have the plane. Here we are with Benoit. It was very easy. We tried to find the most easiest family, and it is plane foliated by geodesic. This plane projected on the horizontal gave us harmonic map that we used to construct the annuli in nil. Then annuli in nil are this family. Okay, and after we have other annulus like that. With a boundary at infinity, which is not circle. Here we have, for example, constant curvature curves. We have an horocycle like that. And after equidistant curves at this higher level. Here, in this, here we have helicoids. Here it is helicoids foliated by equidistant curves. K less than 1, but greater than 0. It is equidistant curves which are turning in periodic way. When the curvature are 0, it is a classical helicoid. And here it is a particular family of helicoids. They are, we call them blow-wet helicoid. It is like if you have an helicoid and you blow some bubble inside. What does it mean? It means that at some level, we have some geodesic curves and axes, and between the two levels, between a period, we have equidistant curves. Then K, the curvature is less than 1. No, it's strictly less than 1, minus 1. It's like if you blow some part of the helicoid with. Okay. And in this part, the remarkable surfaces, we find some Riemann type examples, which look like more or less something like, I don't know. Then you have an annuli, and after it opens to another annuli like that. Here you have a geodesic equidistance in this region, and here equidistance in this region, and after annuli. Then it is a Riemann, vertical Riemann steps cut by a cylinder. You can see, and here you have geodesic here, and here you have constant curves. You have constant curve like that. It is each horizontal curve. Well, and the interesting thing is that it is a complete surfaces with hyperbolic, periodic, and hyperbolic type. Then sometimes, well, then I don't know what to, maybe, well. And in S2 crosshair, the picture is quite, then my conjecture is that all complete surfaces that we will be found construct on harmonic map, the nicest one, embedded one, will be inside this family, and I will try in the following to give why I think this, why I think this statement. Then in general theory, then in S2 crosshair, the picture is quite more simple. In S2 crosshair, we have helicoid here, onduloid, and here Riemann family. Then, what is helicoids in S2 crosshair? It is a geodesic which turns at a constant speed when you go up. Then onduloid was constructed by Pedrosa and Eritore. It is a surface of revolution in S2 crosshair, right? Right, more or less. And here you have geodesic. And the Riemann family is like when you tilt two circles and you construct the small annuli, and that will be oscillate along a geodesic when you are going up. The center of each horizontal circles are contained in the one geodesic of the S2. Then, in R3 is interesting. You know that f carré is 0 is only attained at some point. It means that each ends in R3 are conformal type puncture X disk. And of course, it is the Riemann classical family, Riemann's family in R3. Well, and I would like to recall that in R3 we have always the same principle. From the catenoid, you can shift the circle to obtain this new family, which then generate on a straight line, and after you get other circle, which is a two parameter family, and you have the well-known theorem of Nix-Perez-Ross, which said that if X in R3 is an embedded properly annulus with infinite number of ends, then sigma is foliated by circle. It means that Schiffmann is 0. Okay. Then Schiffmann is 0, and this is these two family. Then in S2 crosser, then it is already a conjecture, and but we expect that it is true. We expect the same theorem. And surprise, someone that a new friend, when we recall the Lawson conjecture in S3, which states that if X is a torus in S3 is embedded, then T is a Clifford torus. And the Clifford torus is flat in S3, but gamma crosser is already flat. It is a cylinder in S2 crosser, and the vertical plane is already flat. Then it is. Then we understand how to tilt the circles, but I would like to know where is the Riemann family in S3. I have sometimes. Combien de temps?
So you have the Gauss map of a minimal surface in S3 goes to S2 cross S2.
Yeah, I will.
Are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, always with integrable system. It is exactly. In S3, you can remark that you can send S3 in R3 by projection stereographic, and then the Clifford torus is a torus of revolution, and you have an open book structure. Open book structure, it means a book which cuts the torus along some round circle. Then what I would like to do, of course, is tilt the these circles and find plateau, makes analytic continuation of this annulus, but it's not clear what you are obtaining. And in fact, why? Because you never find geodesic to make some to use an isometry of S3. And then the idea is to look S3 by the Hopf fibration of S3. Hopf fibration. In S3, which is a projection of S3 to S2, and we know that when you cut rotational flat torus by a tangent, by a plane which is bitangent at the torus, you obtain a round circle, which links the torus, and the torus is foliated. Clifford torus is foliated by 4 family of circles, and in fact, while these small circles are very small, are pi of length pi, this is a geodesic of length 2 pi, and you can look for 2 geodesic like that, which give you, in fact, 2 circles linked, and solve the plateau problem. Then you can move. You have the possibility to move one geodesic in a 3-direction way and solve the plateau problem, and you obtain a small annulus. And after you use an isometry to produce an annulus. And this annulus is, in fact, the Riemann family in S3. And tomorrow I will try to prove you that there is no other possibility to deform the Clifford torus in such a way to produce an annulus like that. And I will explain in the algebra and in integrable system why when we can open and when we cannot open this. Do that. Okay. Yeah.